to make the best cheesecake in the whole entire world, and I'm gonna show you exactly how. And no, I'm not just saying this to be dramatic, I truly mean it. This recipe is my pride and joy. It's one of the top recipes on Google, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can just go read one of the countless 5-star reviews from people claiming that this recipe changed their life. For the full written recipe with all of the measurements and all of the instructions, go to bakewithzoha.com/best-cheesecake. So let's make it. So first we're gonna line this 9-inch springform pan. It's really important to use a good quality pan with a tight seal so that water doesn't get into it. I just take a little bit of butter and I'm gonna wipe that lightly on the bottom as well as the sides, and then I line it with parchment paper. So I have one 9-inch round that's gonna go right on the bottom, and then a long strip that's gonna go along the sides. And the butter basically helps the parchment stick to the pan, just like this. Now let's make the crust. So I've got my food processor. I'm gonna add my graham crackers. If you don't have graham crackers, you can also use digestive biscuits. You can also add a little bit of brown sugar, but I personally just skip that. Let's go ahead and grind these until they become a really fine crumb. And then add melted butter and pulse again. Now you transfer this into the pan. Take a spoon or the back of a measuring cup and press this down really, really tightly. The tighter you pack this, the crispier your crust is going to be. Now we're gonna bake this at 350 Fahrenheit for just 7 to 8 minutes to get this golden and crispy. Now let's work on the cheesecake batter. And this batter is really simple. There are no fancy ingredients, but the quality of the ingredients makes a big, big difference. So first of all, you need cream cheese. Make sure to use the cream cheese that comes in blocks, not in tubs, and you can never go wrong with Philadelphia. Make sure you are using full fat sour cream and full fat heavy cream, and everything has been brought to room temperature. That is critical to make sure that you get a smooth batter. So go ahead and add your cream cheese to the bowl of the stand mixer. I'm also gonna add in the sugar, the salt, and the vanilla. And you ideally want to use something that has seeds in it, like vanilla bean paste or this Trader Joe's vanilla flavor that has vanilla bean seeds. Two important things. Number one, we're going to use a paddle attachment, not the balloon whisk attachment, because with cheesecake batter, we don't want to incorporate a lot of air into it. We want it to be more silky, more creamy. And number two, throughout this whole batter making process, you're going to go ahead and scrape the bowl multiple times to help ensure that everything is well combined and there aren't any lumps of like unmixed ingredients, especially cream cheese in there. Let's go ahead and whisk this for a few minutes until the cream cheese and sugar are well combined, and that is perfectly creamy. Now we take a separate bowl in which we're gonna break down our eggs, and then just take a whisk to very gently break them down. At this point forward, it is critical that we don't over mix that cheesecake batter. We don't want to add air into it because that will make it more like cake, light and fluffy and airy, which is not what we want. We want it to be silky and creamy and luscious. Add them in and then whip on low speed for only a few seconds until the eggs are combined. And you guessed it, we're gonna scrape again. Now we're gonna add heavy cream, sour cream, and lemon juice. Some people don't like to add lemon juice to their cheesecake. I personally think that a little bit of that tanginess is really, really important in getting the perfect cheesecake flavor. And once again, whip until just combined. Last but not the least, I'm gonna sift in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. This is just gonna give a little bit of structure to the cheesecake. And whisk one last time. That's it. This batter is done, and look how beautiful and creamy and silky that is. I'm sorry, I just have to. I love it so much. At this point, you can take 2 large sheets of aluminum foil and wrap them really tightly around the outside and bottom of your pan so that no water goes in. I'm not gonna do that because I'm very confident in how tight this pan is. Now let's pour the cheesecake batter into the pan. Gently tap the pan on your counter a few times to get rid of any air bubbles, because the air bubbles can cause the cheesecake to crack. Now it's time to bake, but there's 3 really important things about baking this cheesecake to get it right. Number one, we're gonna do it in a water bath. What that means is I'm gonna place a large sheet, I'm gonna put boiling water in it, and then put the cheesecake pan inside. Water bath basically helps make sure that the cheesecake bakes really low and slow. Number two, we are not gonna open and close the oven door at all throughout this baking process until at least 70 minutes, because we don't want sudden temperature changes. They can cause the cheesecake to crack. And number three, but most important, we're actually going to slightly under bake this cheesecake and only bake for 75 to 80 minutes. That is going to help ensure that we get that beautiful luscious texture, because in my opinion, most baked cheesecakes out there are are over baked, which causes them to become eggy and dry and crumbly. Let's go ahead and bake. Cheesecake is out of the oven, and you can see when I jiggle it, it looks somewhat set around the edges but has a lot of jiggle in the middle, and we want the jiggle in the middle. Now we have to let this fully cool down. What that means is 2 hours at room temperature, so just like this, followed by at least 12 hours in the fridge. And if I can be patient at 8 months pregnant, so can you. It is the next day and the cheesecake is looking so perfect. Let's carefully remove it from the pan, and this is totally optional, but I like to decorate with a little bit of whipped cream on top. I'm just doing these dollops because I think it's such an easy decoration technique that always looks amazing. And in case you're wondering, this is just plain heavy cream that I have whipped to stiff peaks. It looks so good. So excited. Oh my god, words cannot do this justice. You just have to try it for yourself. Please do. It is gonna change your life.